Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Tuesday CT. I am Kristin from Magoosh, and today we are talking about tips for the ACT English section, specifically how to answer one specific question type that I'm going to call adding or deleting sentences that you are going to see several times on basically every single ACT exam. So there is a good trick for answering these types of questions that I'm going to show you. It's a little hack, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. So what I mean by the adding or deleting sentences questions are questions that look something like this. At this point, the author is considering adding the sentence, blah, blah, blah. Should the author make this addition here? Or something that looks like this. The author is considering deleting the underlined portion. Should this portion be kept or deleted? So some variation on these two questions, whether you should be adding or deleting a sentence. If you've even seen one ACT exam, I guarantee you've seen a question like this. And then your answer choices are going to say either yes, yes, no, no, because, or kept because, deleted because. What I want you to focus on, here is my trick. Ignore that yes or no or kept or deleted at first. Why? Well, because it's really easy to bias yourself or be thinking too hard about it. And this is important if you struggle with these questions, but it's also important if you think they're easy so that you don't make a silly mistake, and you can also keep things a little bit easier on your brain. So what I want you to do is focus on the rationale first. That is the because part. So if it says something like, yes, because it explains important context that is needed for understanding the next paragraph, the rationale is the because it explains important context for understanding the next paragraph part. Because you need to make sure that those rationales are true. It doesn't matter if it says yes or no or kept or deleted. If that rationale is not true based on the passage, then the answer is wrong. It doesn't matter whether it says yes, no, kept, or deleted. So I'm going to show you an example of this. It's a little tough because on these types of questions you need to see the entire passage. So there is a link below the video to this passage and sample question that you can go ahead and try to answer yourself. So if you want to go ahead and do that first, just pause this video for a second, check it out, try to answer the question, and then we will explain it. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about it, or you could just pull up that passage and follow along. So this is a passage on the Grimke sisters, and this is the sentence. Now, it's hard for me to fit this all on here, but you can, again, pull open that link and take a look at the whole question. So here is the sentence that we want to figure out whether we should be adding it at the highlighted point. The Liberator was founded in 1831 and was published in Massachusetts, and the question says, should the writer make this addition here? Yes, yes, no, no. Let's ignore it first and just see if these rationales are true. All right, let's look at A. Because it gives specific information regarding the Liberator. Well, that is true, so I'm not going to eliminate that one. Now let's look at B. Because it helps the reader understand why Garrison could not speak about slavery from personal experience. I abbreviated that one a little bit. Does this sentence explain why Garrison could not speak about slavery from his personal experience? It says nothing about Garrison. All it does is talk about the Liberator. So I can immediately eliminate that because it needs to actually pertain to this content. Now this is where really smart students get tripped up, because maybe you start overthinking things and you're like, oh, well, yeah, because maybe it was published before this certain time. There's this other stuff in the passage that was talking about this. No, it's just asking about the specific sentence, and that sentence does not explain anything about Garrison or what he could or could not talk about. So I am going to cross that one out and just delete it. In fact, you actually don't even need to read the question first. Like, you just you'll read the sentence and then figure out if these things are true on these types of questions. And then I just have 3 answer choices here because I ran out of room, but you can look at the full example on the link. So C, because the date it was founded is already in the passage. Now, in this case, we are referring to the rest of the passage, so you would need to scan back and see if it gives a date that the Liberator was founded, and if it does, then you would not want to eliminate this because of that. But then, if it doesn't give it there, then you can make a decision. In this case, you would need to look at the no or the yes, but you've already made some eliminations about things you can eliminate and not even consider. So make some eliminations based on the rationale first. I've actually seen plenty of questions where I've been able to eliminate 3 answer choices based on the rationale because they didn't make any sense, and then you automatically know it's either yes or no, or kept or deleted. In most cases, you'll be able to eliminate 1 or 2. So in this case, I was able to eliminate 1 of these 3. That cuts down my odds, that's a good thing, and then make decisions about yes or no or kept or deleted. If you do this, you'll avoid biasing yourself because maybe you don't like the writing of the passage. Maybe you don't think it's a great sentence. There is some subjectivity involved in these types of questions, and that's where students get into trouble because they think, well, yes, it should be kept because I like that sentence or it's important. But the ACT doesn't care about your opinion on its writing. It just cares that you can understand what their rationale is for keeping or deleting that sentence. And so that is a trick to answer these questions on the ACT. For lots more tips, you can join us here next Tuesday ACT, and you can also check out act.magoosh.com for more questions like this one and more lessons like these videos. I will see you next week.